BHowTube asked, could you please make a video on SEO for clothing brands? There are many people who need expert advice on this topic. I can, and I got good news for you. This is a much less competitive niche than you may realize. Most clothing brands don't know the first thing about SEO. Uniqlo, for example, it just got a massive SEO boost by doing the most basic SEO things. It either filled out missing page titles to be just ones that were completely missing or filled them out to be more descriptive. It was using nonsense URLs of random letters and numbers, and it changed the URL slugs to actually be human readable. Started using meta descriptions, using the H1 tag, the big header at the top, the most basic SEO things, and as a result, crazy SEO boost now, ranking for so many keywords just by doing these basic things because so many clothing brands don't know anything about SEO. So the competition, it's not as scary as a lot of people might think. There's going to be two sections in this episode of the podcast. The first section, it's the part of SEO that everybody finds the most exciting. It's backlinks, how to get backlinks for your clothing brand. And the second section, it's how to actually format your site for SEO, how to format your clothing site for search engine optimization. And before I start, if you're just beginning SEO and you don't know the first thing about it, you need a checklist of the most important things that a website cannot forget. I have this article, Pareto SEO. It's the 20% of SEO tasks that get 80% of the results, like the Pareto principle. And it covers things like what to do with Google Search Console, how to submit your site in the first place to it, where to put your keywords, the most basic SEO things if you're just starting. Pareto SEO, you can just Google Pareto SEO Edward Sturm to get that article. It'll be a great place to start. Let's jump into it. Backlinks. I'm going to first give the most basic backlinking strategies, and then I'm going to give a few advanced strategies, a few crazy strategies. Make sure you submit your clothing brand's website to directories, general business directories, and niche fashion directories. Do that, then you'll be getting backlinks from all of these directories. Make sure you're using descriptive language when you are submitting your directories. Don't just submit it with like a blank description. Use descriptive language. To get in publications, in top publications, use Help a Reporter Out and Source of Sources. These are the two best places, and they're free, where journalists, and there's a lot of fashion, style, lifestyle journalists here, they need expert sources, expert quotes for the stories that they are writing, and they will ask questions to the people on Help a Reporter Out and Source of Sources. They will ask questions looking for an expert for their story, and you write a response. And if your response is chosen because you gave a good response, if your response is chosen, then you get a backlink. And it is a great place. And like I said, lots of fashion, style, lifestyle journalists are here. Just on Help a Reporter Out and Source of Sources, I've sent thousands of these answers to journalists in the past using platforms like this. I had on somebody on this show who sent almost 100,000 responses to these journalists, like 100,000 expert responses to these journalists because he has a bunch of clients. And so he came onto this podcast. That was episode 615 of this show. 100,000 journalist pitches sent, secrets from an expert link builder. If you want to check it out. Him and we go over the top reasons journalists accept or decline pitches, other platforms to use. And so if you want to use Help a Reporter Out or Source of Sources, which is really great and it's free, that 30-minute episode shares everything that you need to know about using those platforms. Something else that you should be doing to get backlinks, go on podcasts. I talk about this all the time. First of all, fashion bloggers, and you know what, before I even say the benefits, a lot of people might be listening, well, how do I even get on a podcast? I don't really have an audience. I recommend this tool. I use this tool to go on 30 podcasts in 3 months before I had any audience. It was before I had this podcast, before I had my TikTok or Instagram. It's called AIPodcastMatcher.com. I'm their biggest affiliate, and I was one of their biggest power users. Now I have the show and I just focus on the show. But when I really wanted to go on podcasts, I did that. It uses AI to match hosts who want guests on their shows with guests who want to go on shows. And there's lots of fashion and clothing and style and lifestyle podcasts that you could go on to promote your fashion brand. And when you promote your fashion brand, you get a link to your fashion brand in the description for that show, but also listeners go to it and engage with your brand and your site. And real engagement is so much more important than backlinks that nobody clicks on or links that aren't even indexed. Real engagement is the most important thing. So go on podcasts. You can use AIPodcastmatcher.com. Also, fashion bloggers, they might listen to the podcast that you are PR on. That happens. And then they write about you and they link to you. And then you get links like that. And then you go on, maybe they have a podcast, you go on that. That sort of stuff happens all the time. So go on podcasts. It's another great way to get links. Make sure you have the basic social media accounts, especially TikTok and Instagram. And when you're posting, post reels. Reels on Instagram are performing really well. Post TikToks and constantly link to your site or tell people to go to your site. Again, real engagement is so important. If you need ideas for what to post, I had on Kata Dervishi on this show. That's episode 606 of this podcast. Kata Dervishi, the title is called Making Millions with Insane High Frequency Posting. Kata has Soulmate Customs. She's like 24 years old, I think. Soulmate Customs is making millions of dollars a year. It's an accessory and fashion brand. She posts on TikTok and Instagram 7 times a day. Gets so much traffic to her site, so much real engagement to her site. Traffic and brand are so important. She gets so much of it. And so if you need ideas like where do I start? What do I post? Episode 606, Making Millions with Insane High Frequency Posting of this podcast. You can listen to that. And she talks about all of that if you want to go deep into how to actually promote your brand on TikTok and Instagram. Because again, people Googling your brand name is really, really good for your SEO. But even if you don't listen to that, just make sure you're posting at least once a day. Talk about everything that you're doing with your clothing brand, all the products that you have, why you're passionate about it, why you like this, why you started it in the first place. So many things to talk about. Show off your products, all that sort of stuff. Man, I'm feeling really hyped. I'm feeling so good about this. So I have these compact keyword shirts for my SEO course, Compact Keywords, and I'm like, I should make TikToks and Instagram Reels showing off all those, because I have I think 6 or 7 variations of these shirts. And I'm like, I should make a lot of TikToks and Instagram Reels just talking about these shirts. I'm getting so excited about all of this. So let's go into more advanced link building. And now we're going to talk about something called linkable assets. Linkable assets are things on your site that are so cool or useful or interesting that you can't help but share with somebody. You can't help but share with a friend, or if you're a blogger, share it on your blog, share it to your audience, because these are so cool, so useful, so interesting. And so if you have a clothing brand, you can do visual linkable assets that either help people or just are cool, things that people want to share. So an idea for one of these, it could be something like a tool where you upload a picture. It could be like a picture of your living room or of your backyard or the cafe that you're sitting at. And so you upload a picture, and the tool that you make, it tells you what color to wear today and why you should wear this color. Really, really simple concept like that. Canva, it has a color palette generator, and you upload an image and it tells you the dominant colors in the image and gives you a color palette just based on an image. And if this sounds basic and unimpressive, well, let me tell you, Canva's color palette generator generated 8.1 thousand backlinks from 2.2 thousand unique websites linking to it. So if that sounds basic, well, the results are anything but basic. 2.2 thousand websites linked to Canva's color palette generator, 8.1 thousand total backlinks. And I have an article if you want to go deeper on linkable assets that you could create. It's called No Link Building Budget Could Buy These Results. You can just search that with my name attached. No Link Building Budget Could Buy These Results. Or you could go to edwardsturm.com/articles and find it. If you want ideas for linkable, very simple linkable assets that you could create, very simple things that you can create that can get you crazy results. And the last backlinking thing, and this also is again a little bit more advanced. This is something that I did in the finance niche. And this can easily work here. You make blog posts rating the top fashion bloggers or influencers or something in your niche. So top fashion bloggers, just literally in your specific niche. top fashion influencers in your specific niche. You try to make your page and site and posts look beautiful. So make it look nice and professional. And yeah, you mentioned the top fashion bloggers or influencers in your niche, but then, and you could do it in 2025 and 2026. But then what you do is you post it on social media, you announce it on socials, you tag all of them to make sure that they all see it. And especially if you go after smaller influencers who might not have a lot of press written about them, who might not get this all the time, they will reshare to their networks for clout for themselves because it makes them look good. And they will literally reshare this article to their network. And this brings you engagement. This brings you awareness. Some of these bloggers might just like you because of it and then share your brand to their audiences. They might write about you, give you a backlink. If they have social media, share you on social media. And it's a nice thing to do, and it's a way to ingratiate yourself with influencers in your niche. And I've done this before. I did this in finance. It works really well. It benefits everybody. It makes the people who you write about feel good. Do something like this. Really awesome thing to do. And then you might rank for things like Top Fashion Bloggers 2025. Really nice thing to do. Great link building tactic there. And now we move on to doing SEO for your clothing site and your clothing pages. How do you get your pages? How do you get your site to rank on Google? Before I go into this part, by the way, my Pareto SEO article is a great place to start learning SEO. And if you want a full 0 to 100 course on how to do SEO from scratch that directly targets customer acquisition with SEO, even if you don't know much about SEO to begin with, compactkeywords.com. This is my 13-hour SEO course. I spent a year making it, super in-depth. It has videos, templates, step-by-step guides, all the information you need to make your site rank for keywords that brings you money. I go into things like how to structure your site for SEO, a step-by-step for how to do an SEO site audit, how to find keywords with purchase intent, how to put up pages, how to track your keywords. Super in-depth. You can learn more at compactkeywords.com. So now, what do you do with your site to rank for clothing keywords? Now, I'm specifically going to focus on using your own site to rank on Google for things that people will search to find your clothing site and buy items from you. I'm not going to talk about Google Merchant Center. That's a separate thing. I'm going deep into how you should be structuring your clothing site to do SEO. Also, if you're finding this valuable so far, a lot of people have asked, Edward, how can I support the podcast? You don't have a Patreon. I can't give you tips on YouTube. Like, what's the best way to support the podcast? Best way to support the podcast, share it with somebody who might need it. That would mean the world to me. If you are getting value from this and there's someone else who would get value, best way to support the podcast is share it with them. The core principle, as I'll talk a lot about, it's you can have same items on multiple pages using different language to rank for keywords. You can rank for multiple keywords with the same item. And so that same item would be on different pages. Each page targets a different keyword. First, super basic, a clear URL structure for categories of items. Easy example, super easy to understand. You have /men and then /men /jackets, /men /jackets /leather, /women /dresses, /women /dresses /summer. And each one of these, it's a hub page, is a category page, and in it you have all the items that are relevant to this. The simple men would be all your men's items. It would be paginated, all your men's items. If you go deeper, men, jackets, leather, then you have all your leather jackets. Very simple. And you're using your page title and your meta description and your H1s and your first sentences. So like your page titles could be men's jackets or men's leather jackets or women's summer dresses. Really easy to understand. You know, women's, so /women /dresses /summer would actually, it wouldn't be women's dresses summer. The page title, it would be women's summer dresses because that sounds natural. That's the type of thing that people search. Whereas men /jackets /leather, that would be men's leather jackets because that is how people search. And that would be the page title, even though the URL structure is reversed. And this is the most basic things that you should be doing is structuring your URL structures like that. Start with men and women and then go into like jackets or dresses or shorts or things like that. Then you have summer, you have leather, you have different ways of niching down. And then when you do the page titles for these category pages, think about the ways people are actually going to search them. Also, for all of these items, make sure that people can see them before they start scrolling. This is called above the fold. Above the fold before people start scrolling, whether it's on mobile or it's on desktop. You want people to start seeing the items right there so they know that they're in the right spot. Now, the principle that I mentioned about how you can target multiple keywords with the same items. So all of these items on these pages, they should be targeted with more pages. And each page, again, goes after a separate keyword. Same items across multiple pages, each page targets a separate keyword. So easy example. Women's summer dresses could also be targeted by a page called light summer dresses for women or resort wear dresses for women. And then these pages, they wouldn't just contain the summer dresses, but they would contain other pieces of your clothing that also fit in. By the way, if you're still listening, you probably already figured out this applies to all sorts of e-commerce, not just fashion. So if we use resort wear dresses for women, if we use that as an example, that's the page title. But the URL slug is /women/dresses/resort-wear. The H1, the top heading, is resort wear dresses for women. And resort wear dresses for women is also in the first sentence of copy on your page above the fold. It might say something like resort wear dresses to take you from sun-drenched days to breezy, elegant nights. Right there, you have your keyword in the first sentence of your page. You have it in your H1. You have it in your page title. You have it in slightly different word order in the URL slug, but very thoughtful URL slug. This is called information architecture, and it just makes it really easy to target so many of these keywords. And then you have a list of items, all the items that you have that would fit into resort wear dresses for women. And as you scroll down on the page, you see the items when the page loads, before you scroll, and then as you scroll, you see more of the items. Then, and this is what nobody knows to do, everyone just ends the page like this, but then what you do is you put in extra copy about why these resort wear dresses are great, why your brand is great, and FAQ, all of that stuff. And then this helps Google, this helps AI, this helps any search engine understand what this page is about and who this page should be recommended to. And it'll be recommended to more people because you have extra copy about your products, about your product or products or brand, all that stuff. Now, you may want to target random keywords that don't fall into your current URL structure. So here's what you do. You make a hub page called /collections. And you put that hub page, you put it in your footer. You can also put it in your header, but that's optional. But at least put it in your footer, /collections. And then you can target miscellaneous keywords that represents groups of your items. So like if it's something like women's summer dresses or resort wear dresses for women, but you might have a keyword where you don't know where to put it. There's no obvious place in your URL structure to put it. And so you just have it in your collections page, /collections, and then you target this keyword. And then on this page, it's all of the items that would fit into this category. And then below the list of items, again, it's more copy about your brand, about these items, about why these items fit this keyword that you are targeting. And again, you target the keyword, you put it in your page title, it's in your URL slug, it's in your H1 header, your top header, and beginning of your first sentence. How about for individual product pages? Maybe you want to do product pages for one piece of clothing or one accessory instead of just lots of different accessories or pieces of clothing. This one's actually a bit different. So you're above the fold before people start scrolling. You have your H1 header, the big top header. Then you have 1 to 3 sentences about the item. Again, the keyword goes in the first sentence. You have colors, you have sizes, you have the ability to click through product shots. You have an add to cart button. Then as you scroll on the page, you have more copy about the product with more images. So it might be your first section below the fold, below when you start scrolling, you would have copy on your left and an image on your right. And then the next section, image on your left, copy on your right. And you keep reversing it and going like that. And you would just have all these different images that represent what you are writing about with the copy. And again, the copy talks about why your product is great, why this product fits the thing that people are searching for. It talks about your brand, the values that your brand has. FAQs about your product. But the most important thing is that you are giving people exactly what they want right there before they even have to start scrolling. And then at the bottom of the page, you have another add to cart button. So top of the page, again, it's the big header, 1 to 3 sentences about the product with the keyword in the first sentence, colors, sizes, ability to click through product shots, and an add to cart button. And that add to cart button is also, again, at the bottom of the page. So you have all these images. Throughout your site, you should be using lots of alt text. This is very important. Super detailed alt text. Describe your items really well. Very important. Use WebPs for images, because this is a different image type. So not PNGs, use WebPs, because these tend to have smaller file sizes, so they load faster. Make sure you're compressing your images. Use WebPs and compress them. Also have the option to, lots of people will want this, also have the option to zoom in and then see these images in high resolution. Now, so you have these collections pages for going after multiple items. You have this collections page in your footer, and then in that you have different keywords that you are targeting, and each one of these keywords has multiple. You click the keyword, it goes to a page targeting that keyword. Within this page are multiple items of clothing, each that fits within this category. And so in the same way that you have this, it's called, instead of collections, you call it styles. You have a styles page. Again, this is in your footer. And then this is a hub page for going after keywords that represent individual items, individual pieces of clothing or individual accessories. So your no frills men's leather wallet, it might also work as a minimalist leather wallet for men, or a classic men's bifold wallet. Those are all different keywords that represent the same thing. So you have this styles page. It has all of these keywords in it. And when someone clicks on the keyword, it links to that page, and that page targets the keyword with the keyword in its page title, URL slug, so /styles / your keyword. The keyword is in the H1 header, and it's in the first sentence of your page. And because it's one item, the page layout looks the same as what I previously said about how your pages should look for one item. All the stuff above the fold, your H1, your 1 to 3 sentences, colors, sizes, add to cart button, click through product shots, all of that stuff. And now your site is arranged to go after keywords that represent multiple items, or keywords that represent a single item. And there are so many keywords you can go after. In clothing, there's so many different ways that people search for the same piece of clothing. It's insane how much opportunity there is. And again, so few clothing brands are actually taking this stuff seriously, so it's really easy to beat them. I gave all those backlink strategies at the beginning, but you don't even need all those backlinks, because it's just not as competitive as people realize. So if you already have some SEO knowledge, doing these things, it's going to make you rank for way more purchase intent keywords. The link building section will increase your site's authority a ton. Your SEO authority will be increased a lot. And again, if you want to go deeper into these strategies, this is exactly what I talk about in Compact Keywords, compactkeywords.com. That is how to do SEO for clothing, for a clothing site. So for everybody watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, this is episode 694 of my daily digital marketing show. 694 days in a row doing this podcast. Oh my God, so many episodes. Thank you so much for watching or for listening. Thank you so much. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.